Jason, thank you. A pair of fights in Oshkosh over the weekend ends in gunfire. Although no one was injured, 6 people ages 15 to 53 are now being referred for charges in connection to those disturbances. First at a public pool and then later outside a home on the city's north side. Drew Best joins us live outside Pollock Pool with more details on this. Drew.
Cammie, the first fight took place here at Pollock Pool on the first day that the community water park was open for the summer. It was a pool basketball game that led to the large disturbance, 2 fights at different locations, and 1 person eventually being taken into custody. According to Oshkosh police, an adult near the basketball game was splashed in the face and hit with the basketball. The adult then pushed a teenager, which escalated into a larger fight between several people. Almost 2 hours later, the fight continued outside a home on East Melvin, where one of the participants, a 20-year-old woman, eventually fired a gunshot into the air before handing the weapon to another person. This led to the second police response, where officials recovered the weapon and took the woman into custody.
When we were alerted to both disturbances, we immediately responded to both of those locations to make sure that everyone was safe. We want all community spaces to be safe places for people to enjoy, and we urge people to call us right away if possible before disturbance escalate into even larger disturbances.
5 of the 6 people recommended charges could face at least 1 felony count. At this time, Pollock Pool is also declining comment about the initial fights. Reporting live in Oshkosh, Drew Best, Action 2 News.